Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, who is Ismael Betancourt? Where do you come from? What do you do?
My name is Ismael Betancourt. I am from San Juan, Puerto Rico, and I came to the United States in 1994. I attended college at St. Louis University, and after finishing college, I went back to Puerto Rico for about a year, and I worked in an IT consulting company owned by my parents. And after realizing that that's not what I wanted to do, that I wanted to come back to the United States to continue my education and get a job here, I went back to St. Louis University, and I worked as an admission counselor and continued moving up in different stages at the university in different positions until I reached the position of Director of International Services, which is kind of like the position that I hold here at Xavier nowadays.
So, for the American dream, what was your idea of it as a child or growing up? Did you have an idea of the American dream?
So, I thought that the U.S. was a land of opportunity, and I wanted to come to the U.S. I was the first one in my family actually that came to the United States for college. All my sisters and my cousins and basically all my family have actually studied at the University of Puerto Rico. American dream for me is wanting to come to the U.S. and wanted to experience what everybody else was saying that was happening here. Like getting an education and maybe getting a good job and getting paid fairly, and having that white that house with white picket fence and just security in general. And that's what I envisioned when I came actually to the U.S. I'm like, I wanna give it a shot.
Now, like after all your experiences, maybe even working in higher education and everything like that, has your idea of the American dream changed at all?
It's changed a little bit, yes. I know that every dream comes with a price. So I think that the price that I gave up is being away from my family, So I question that every day. I thought it was going to be easier. But like I said before, it comes with a price, it comes with effort, it comes with sweat, So it's not as easy as actually people think it is outside of the U.S. I talk to a lot of people from outside the U.S. and everybody says, oh, United States, I want to come over and get rich. Well, it's not as easy as that.
And kind of your education as well has been like very internationally based. You had all your education in international business up until now your PhDs in higher education, and you've worked in international education this whole time. Why international education?
When I went to college, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I knew what an application was, and I filled everything out, and my high school counselor helped me out. But to be honest with you, when I got to college, or maybe it was like 2 months before getting to college, I didn't know what a major was. That word is not used in Spanish, I didn't know what to do. How do you secure housing? How do you do all this stuff? So when I became an admission counselor, I said, you know what, I'm gonna make a promise to myself that I will help as many students as I can, especially students that come from outside the U.S., but I did help a lot of Americans not have to go through what I went through. So as long as my students actually came to the United States, I picked them up at the airport and I took them to the hotel, and I quickly took over to make sure that all their needs were being met and also that they knew what they needed to be doing. So I graduated in 1998 with an international business degree when there were only, maybe like 10 students that graduated with international business. It wasn't a big thing then, but I saw an opportunity and I said, America keeps growing, the U.S. keeps growing, it has to go outside, There's no way, it's a bubble, and effectively, that's what happened. So I knew international education was going to be big, and I wanted to be part of it. So I wanted to combine that domestic education with something international that was a marriage of both.
How would you say that like internationalization or the bubble expanding, as you use that metaphor, how does that like affect or play into the American dream?
Technology has changed everything. It makes the world closer. So with travel, so with the economy. It's a world economy now. So no one can live in isolation anymore. It doesn't matter if you're in rural Iowa, you know what the heck is going on in China. You know it. You might not like it, but you still know it. So it brought a perspective in the U.S. that a lot of people outside the U.S. already had, but the U.S. didn't. The U.S. was always isolated and thinking it was the best powerhouse in the world, and we don't need anything, we don't need anybody. And everybody else outside the U.S. was communicating and actually working together. Now the U.S. is actually being forced to be part of that group.
And then so now, like earlier you were touching upon how you picked up students from the airport, you're helping with translations. Do you have other examples of how of experiences with international students and how exactly you're enabling them in their pursuit of the American dream?
I push really hard for scholarship for international students. Salaries abroad are not the same as what it is in the U.S. So I'm coming to the U.S. and affording let's say at Xavier like a $45,000 scholarship. It's not easy. So scholarships, I push hard for that. I push hard to recruit in non-traditional places. We get a lot of Chinese, we get a lot of Indians, we get a lot of South Koreans and Saudi Arabians, but let's go farther than that. Let's go to Zambia, let's go to South Africa, let's go to places where people don't typically come over, and give them a chance as well. So, and fund them with scholarships, I think the revenues, the ROI, the return on investment that we're going to get from that student may not be monetarily. It may be the spreading the word that Xavier is the best university out there. It will pay off eventually, let me put it that way.
Where would you say your dream is taking you?
I think that more than anything, I want to help people. I don't necessarily care what the salary will be. I don't necessarily care what the position is. Well, I do care about authority because in the U.S. authority, it's very important, and I can't do anything without authority. So I do care authority for that specific purpose. But I think I have a responsibility to help others.
Do you have any advice or a message for the dreamers out there, even if it's internationally based or just in general? What would you say to kind of the young dreamers?
Keep dreaming and keep working on it, because look at me, I'm a guy from Puerto Rico. I came to the U.S. I was afraid. I didn't know what the heck was going on. I had to rough it out. A lot of people didn't help me out, but there were a few key people that actually took a chance on me.